What's up everyone, I'm CallumOnToast, and in today's video I'm going to be showcasing a triple-double Elemental Punch theme team, as of course the Elemental Punches all got a buff to their damage this season. Now Dusclops only learns 2 of the 3 Elemental Punches, but both Hitmonchan and Hypno learn all 3, so I decided to run a different combination of Elemental Punches on each Pokemon. With that being said, let's get straight into the question of the day. Aside from Mew, what do you think is the most versatile Pokemon in terms of all the viable coverage moves that it currently has access to? Let me know in the comment section down below, and with that being said, let's get into the battles now. I was heading into the first battle, leading Shadow Hitmonchan into a jump off. Now of course we do have Ice Punch for coverage, but it's still a losing matchup, so I'm going to say swap into my Shadow Hypno and met with a Licky Licky. Now of course they could go and full send a Shadow Ball. I'm going to no shield, and the opponent does bait with a Body Slam, which is great for me. The opponent then going to fire off another Body Slam immediately, also fine with me. Now what I could do is fire off 2 Confusions to throw on good timing, but I'm at back-to-back Elemental Punches, so going to fire off the first one. We go for a Fire Punch. Now I'm going to fire off a second Fire Punch straight away. This might grab a shield from the opponent. It does grab a shield. The opponent will overfarm just slightly, but that's okay. Gonna let the Hypno go down. We've grabbed the shield advantage, which is great because, of course, we can now fire off an Ice Punch potentially into the jump bluff coming back in. Unfortunately, still met with a Body Slam as we don't quite get that counter farm down, but instead I'm actually going to swap straight away, and they've got a second rollout user in the back, and unfortunately this isn't as good for us because we do have a Dusclops. Running Hex is the fast move, which is double resisted. However, these Elemental Punches doing slightly more damage this season will be quite nice for us because at least we're going to do slightly more chip damage, but we're going to throw on CMP. Dusclops actually losing CMP in this matchup, but we just barely hang on, living that drill run there, which is very nice. Ice Punch again, not going to do that much damage, but it puts them into counter farm down range. Now the opponent unfortunately can swap out pretty much straight away, but we're already at the Ice Punch. Ice Punch does huge double super effective damage. Honestly, I kind of expected it to do slightly more than that, but we can shield the Aerial Ace. We still got another shield remaining, and these counters, whilst they're generating less energy this season and obviously last season, we are still dealing big damage here. Despite being resisted, we get the counter farm down, and we can counter farm down the Dunsparce, and I'm able to take that game. So GG Turbo there, into next battle. You can see a Mandibuzz in the lead. Now Mandibuzz unfortunately a pretty big core breaker to the entire team. However, we do have coverage on all 3 Pokemon, so it's not the worst thing ever. We're going to shield up the Aerial Ace there, going to go for 1 counter, then fire off the Thunder Punch, and this is definitely where we're going to see the energy generation of counter really does hold Hitmonchan back. We can technically live an Aerial Ace, and these Snarls, they're really not doing much damage. However, I might as well shield that, and they're going to come in with a Gastrodon, so we're going to go and fire off the Ice Punch, and then I will throw 1 counter and try and catch a Body Slam onto my Dusclops, which would be double resisted. Unfortunately, the opponent does not fall for it. They overfarm massively, and now they can fire off the Earth Power. Earth Power does big damage, and I don't think I will make it to back-to-back charge moves here before they fully munch that farm me down. It will be very close, and actually maybe would have quite got there. So the opponent not going to take any risks, fires off the Body Slam. Body Slam actually doesn't take us out there, and they can't even get the snipe with that Snarl either, so that's huge for me. Ice Punch will put them into counter farm down range. However, Mandibuzz very spammy, so I'm actually going to come in with my Hypno, knowing that Hypno, even if they're running like Dark Pulse, can tank it fairly comfortably. So the opponent fires off the Dark Pulse. We're now going to swap back into Hitmonchan, going for the counter snipe, and we get that farm down. We're now going to go for the counter farm down up against the Gastrodon as well. They come in with a Shadow for Alligator. I'm not certain how much damage this will do, so I farm up 2 back-to-back Thunder Punches, but it's actually enough damage to take out the Shadow for Alligator, and I'm able to take that game. So GG Topo there, into next battle. You can see a Quagsire in the lead. So of course, Ice Punch is going to be neutral coverage here, but I'm actually going to swap into my Shadow Hypno. Don't really want to use a shield, and the fact that we swap here hopefully means the opponent will swap out as well, and they do. They swap into a Lowland Sandslash. Of course, they're also running Ice Punch. Ice Punch did get the buff this season, but it doesn't quite take us out there. We can now full send the Fire Punch. Fire Punch, double super effective. It gets the one shot. They come back in with the Quagsire, and that's okay. And I'm not really sure what the third Pokemon is going to be, so I'm actually going to come in and reveal my third Pokemon, which is Dusclops. Again, not going to shield as my Hitmonchan kind of needs the shields for this team. And the opponent comes in with a Toxapex. Now, unfortunately, Ice Punch and Fire Punch are both resisted, but if I farm up enough energy, the opponent might think I'm running Poltergeist. So, again, saving the shields for the Hitmonchan. I really need to grab a shield here. This will do very minimal damage, but we do grab that shield, and now suddenly things are looking fairly good. Of course, Thunder Punch is not going to be enough damage to get the KO here, but we are going to grab the final shield from the opponent, throwing on the CMP tie. I do have to be wary of a potential catch from the opponent, so we're not going to throw the Thunder Punch as soon as we get there. And the opponent tries to make that catch. They swap back into the Quagsire. Honestly, I probably should have thrown slightly sooner, just because I do throw as late as possible, and we do come out with the Thunder Punch loaded. But maybe a few more counters up against the Toxapex would have been nice, because they can actually Poison Jab, farm me down. And again, both moves are resisted. They are so low. Hopefully, this will get the KO, and Fire Punch does just barely take out the Toxapex, and I'm able to take that game. So GG top there. Into next battle, you can see a Gastrodon in the lead. So we are going to stay in with the Hitmonchan. I think it's quite risky to try and catch a Body Slam right off the bat. Turns out it would have been fine, as the opponent does just throw straight away. And we're going to no shield that. We're going to go for the Ice Punch. And if the opponent does let this go through, then we might stay in. And here we're actually going to swap, hoping to snipe with the Hex. But unfortunately, get a little bit of lag there. Still, it's just a Body Slam. It's not going to do much damage there. And let's see what the opponent wants to do. They're going to come in with a Mandibuzz. Now, of course, we've already mentioned this. Mandibuzz, a bit tricky for this team. I can technically live one charge move here, and we've already got our Hitmonchan very low, so I might as well shield this. The opponent goes for a foul play, so I should be able to live the next foul play. But unfortunately, it kind of puts me into Snarl farm down range, which is probably slightly worse for us. I'd probably just prefer if the opponent takes us out with a Dark Pulse, but unfortunately they're running foul play, so foul play doesn't get the KO, and they will be able to Snarl farm me down. Now I'm hoping Hitmonchan can at least make it to a last second charge move, but we just give them extra farm. And if I grab the final shield there, Hypno might have some chance here if they've got something in the back that's weak to one of the elemental punches, but unfortunately they're going to make it to back-to-back charge moves here. They still have a shield in play, and there's just nothing we can do at this point. There's no point me throwing here, so I'm just going to concede the match. GG's to that opponent there. But into the next battle, we're going to see Ariados in the lead. Now, I'm not running Fire Punch on the Hitmonchan, so we're going to swap out there, and the opponent comes in with a Diggersby, and they are on Quick Attack. So this is actually a pretty good matchup for us, because we can go for Ice Punch here. Ice Punch, with the damage buff this season, should be able to 3-shot the Diggersby, unless, of course, they do get a debuff with the Scorching Sands. And so we're just going to find out here. Scorching Sands is going to be coming through, and it does not get the debuff, which is huge for me. Honestly, I hadn't been keeping track of the energy, so I throw 2 hexes there. Not really expecting the opponent to shield, because it's a kind of a loser matchup for them. So it wasn't the worst timing there. We're now going to see a Feraligatr coming in, which isn't really ideal, as we only have resisted elemental punches. So I actually swap back into my Hitmonchan. This time we're going to fully sacrifice it here. Hydro Cannon doesn't quite take us out there. The opponent can get the Shadow Claw farm down, but we put them into range where hopefully we can just Confusion farm down with the Hypno. However, I am not going to come in with the Hypno. I'm going to wait and force the opponent to throw the energy into my Dusclops, getting the KO there. Now hopefully, even though they will be able to go straight for a lunge here and debuff my attack, I'm hoping 2 shields with my Shadow Hypno, we can just go for a full Confusion farm down. So definitely going to shield once again here, and the opponent actually goes for a smart play, going for Trailblaze there, because now if they did get to a lunge, it might get the KO, but unfortunately they don't get there in time, and as a result the opponent just concedes the match there. So GG top there. Into the next battle, you can see a Shadow Flygon in the lead. Well, Shiny Shadow, which is very cool. We are going to see the opponent swaps into Toxapex. I probably shouldn't have thrown this, because now, of course, I'm going to swap into my Hypno. We don't have Ice Punch for coverage up against that Flygon, so yeah, maybe shouldn't have bothered throwing that. I could have saved the Ice Punch for that Flygon, then gone for maybe a full Confusion farm down, or still thrown a Thunder Punch into the Toxapex, but I'm probably going to grab a shield anyways from the Flygon as we go for a Fire Punch. Fire Punch is going to be shielded. We're going to make it to another Fire Punch, and honestly, this might even grab the final shield, because this Flygon is very low, and we do get that final shield. However, they get the Dragon Tail farm down. They've got a lot of energy. They're going to come in with the Cresselia. We've got a 2-shield advantage. However, Flygon is very close to back-to-back charge moves, so they go for a Moonblast. Moonblast does not get a debuff to my attack. However, it does already get me into the yellow health range, so we go for a Fire Punch. We're not revealing Ice Punch just yet. Not that it really makes a difference. They've not got any shields left anyways, but we're going to shield up as the opponent goes for a Grass Knot. I'm now going to farm up to well over back-to-back charge moves here. I'm going to fire off the Ice Punch, and then I will swap into my Hitmonchan, as I expect the opponent to try and swap and catch a charge move there. I did already locked into a CMP tie, so we sacrifice the Hitmonchan. We can now fire off the Ice Punch. Ice Punch is going to be taking out the Flygon, and now of course we can make it to another charge move. The opponent probably was at a charge move there, but we still had a shield in play. Ice Punch gets the KO, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's top home there into next battle. You can see Hitmonchan into a Giraffe Rig. Now, unfortunately, Giraffe Rig is a huge core breaker for the team. Honestly, not a lot we can do except swap into my own Confusion user, and the opponent just banks the energy, swaps into a Quagsire, and there's just nothing we can do here. Unfortunately, both moves are going to be resisted, and I felt like a lot of the time, even though no Pokemon is going to resist both, Ice, Thunder, and Fire Punch, unfortunately, I felt like a lot of the times I was up against an opponent where their Pokemon was going to resist both the elemental punches that my Pokemon had, but it is what it is. We're now going to come back in with the Hitmonchan, go for the farm down. The opponent actually swaps out into Giraffe Rig, so I'm going to fire off the Thunder Punch here, and you might be thinking, why on earth are you staying in? Well, Hex is still resisted. It's not going to do much damage. I kind of need the counters to land up against the Giraffe Rig, so going to double shield here, go for one more counter, then come in with my Dusclops, go for the Hex farm down, and I'm able to farm down the Giraffe Rig. Of course, we're very low on the Hitmonchan, and they've got Umbreon in the back, so unfortunately, this is not looking very good for us. We can go and fire off the Ice Punch. Ice Punch actually grabs the final shield there, which is kind of interesting, but either way, there's not a lot we can do. Again, Foul Play doesn't quite take us out there, which is worse for us. I prefer if they just took us out straight away. That way we can come in with the Hitmonchan, and then of course get off a lot of counters before throwing a Charge Breathe, but it just doesn't matter. The opponent comes out with a Charge Breathe loaded, the opponent fires off a Foul Play gets the KO, and unfortunately we do lose that game. But GG's Topo there, great lead into the next battle as we see a Bastiodon. So the opponent's going to stay in initially, then swap into Annihilate. I'm slightly slow to swap out there, but I realize, of course, I can let one move go through. So going to no-shield the first one as they go for a Rage Fist. I'm hoping to get the Confusion farm down, but I realize they will get to another Rage Fist after one counter. So going to fire off the Fire Punch, and the opponent comes in with a Wigglytuff, and now suddenly things are not looking good for us as we have to come in with the Dusclops, but we are dealing double resisted fast food pressure with the Hex, so not ideal for us. We go for a Fire Punch, but the opponent makes a huge mistake as they swap back into Bastiodon, meaning we can come in with the Hitmonchan, shield once, go for a huge counter farm down, come out with two elemental punches loaded. So one of these will be grabbing a shield, the other one will connect as they've only got one shield left. So we grab the shield with the first one. Honestly, I should have gone for a counter first before throwing, but I realized if the opponent was running Icy Wind and they threw straight away, I wanted to at least get off one Charge Breathe before they got off an Icy Wind. But it turns out the opponent's going to go for a Swift here, and Swift is going to grab my final shield. But even an Icy Wind will not get the KO from this range. It's just another Swift, which is double resisted. We can fire off the Ice Punch, and of course Ice Punch will take out the Wigglytuff, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's up on there into next battle. You can see Hitmonchan into a Lucario, so a great lead matchup once again. The opponent is going to stay in initially, then swapping into Mandibuzz. Now this is slightly better for us just because we are of course ahead on energy. Going to fire off the Thunder Punch here. Thunder Punch is going to be shielded by the Mandibuzz, and I think they will still be able to outpace me to the next Charge Move, which is very unfortunate. And yeah, we're still not able to make it to back-to-back Thunder Punches despite being ahead on energy. So yeah, counter nerf really troublesome for the Hitmonchan. But of course, when we do finally make it to an Elemental Punch, it will be enough damage to get the KO. However, the opponent going to also double shield. We swap into Dusclops. Dusclops will be able to tank any one Charge Move. They go for the Dark Pulse there. I'm going to overfarm just a little bit, fire off the Ice Punch. And of course, Ice Punch from this range will get the KO up against the Mandibuzz. And let's see, the opponent's going to come in with a Azumarill, and this is really not ideal for us as we've only got resisted Charge Move once again. So I'm going to fire off the Ice Punch. I'm hoping to kill the switch timer and then just swap into my Hypno here, and Hypno will be able to act as a damage sponge. The opponent will have to throw two Charge Moves even if they're running Hydro Pump to get rid of the Hypno here, so that's fine with me. We can make it to a Thunder Punch. Thunder Punch actually probably won't quite get the KO. It doesn't quite take out the Azumarill there, but it doesn't really matter as the opponent has to throw another Charge Move. They only reach the Ice Beam, which doesn't take us out. They come in with Lucario, but are two counters away from a Thunder Punch on the Hitmonchan. Thunder Punch is going to connect, it gets the KO, and I'm able to take that game. So GG Topo there into next battle. You can see Shadow Hitmonchan into a Talonflame. So again, we've got a Thunder Punch there for coverage, but we're going to swap into our Shadow Hypno. And unfortunately, because we swap out there, they will outpace me to the Charge Move, and they get there actually a few turns ahead of us, which isn't ideal. We then bait out a Bastiodon, which we're not running Focus Blast. Maybe I should have at least farmed up to the potential Focus Blast before throwing the Charge Move there. That is definitely a mistake on my end. However, I realized actually if I just undercharge that a bit, we can get so much energy on the Hitmonchan. I thought about shielding, and they go for a Flash Cannon. What the heck? And that is really bad because now we're in 1 Incinerate farm down range. So even though I would make it to back-to-back Thunder Punches, I can only get off 1. So that is really sad there. I was hoping to grab both shields. I should have just shielded up against the Bastion, but of course, expecting a flamethrower at worst. I was not expecting a flash cannon. And now again, it's basically up to Dusclops. Can we get the KO here? Ice Punch is going to, of course, be shielded. Kind of just depends what they've got in the back. So of course, I'm going to use my final shield. I'm going to go and throw the charge move straight away. They've got Wigglytuff. Doesn't really matter. Just going to concede the match. And unfortunately, we do lose that game. But GG's top over there into the next battle, another great lead leading into double. They do actually farm up to the potential wild charge, so I'm going to shield this. Wild charge probably still wouldn't quite take us out, but honestly, like one more double kick probably would get the KO. We're going to go for the Thunder Punch there, and if they throw straight away, it's just going to be another Body Slam. Now, I'm happy to tank this. Body Slam's still going to do a lot of damage despite being nerfed recently, but either way, we get the counter farm down. They're going to come in with an Astonish Shinotic, so going straight for Ice Punch. Ice Punch is going to be shielded. We're now going to swap into our Dusclops. Honestly, that's probably a mistake there just because these hexes, they're not going to do much damage. I should have swapped into my Hypno. That way, by the time we make it to a Fire Punch probably would get the KO. However, unfortunately, Fire Punch is not going to take out the Shinotic from our Dusclops. So I'm still going to have to take a move on my Hypno, which isn't really ideal. They're only going to make it to a Seed Bomb, so I'm fine with no shielding this. And then again, it just depends what they've got in the back. And they've got a Scrafty, which definitely is not ideal for us. But this might be where the Elemental Punches, dealing just slightly more damage, might come in clutch for us, as I'm not going to throw straight away. Instead, I'll wait for the opponent to throw. They end up throwing on alignment, which is very poor. It just shouldn't happen up against a 4-turn move with a 2-turn move. But either way, we fire off back-to-back Fire Punches. Fire Punch doesn't quite get the KO, but one more confusion takes out the Scrafty, and I'm able to take that game. Into next battle, Shadow Hitmonchan into a Jellicent, so not the best for us, but still I should be able to make it to a Thunder Punch before they can throw any charge if that would get the KO. So gonna go for that Thunder Punch. Thunder Punch is gonna be shielded by the opponent, and they're not gonna overfarm too much here, just going for 1 Hex, throwing on good timing. They actually go for a Bubble Beam bait, so I'm gonna swap out of that matchup, swap into my Shadow Hypno. They might be running Shadow Ball, so I'm going to shield, and they bait again with the Bubble Beam. That is definitely very painful. They're now gonna come in with a Skeledirge, and unfortunately, after them swapping out, it's very awkward to throw on good timing there. So we throw, I think we give maybe three turns in for free there, but that's the best I could have managed. We're still able to tank that as they bait with a Disarming Voice. We fire off the Thunder Punch, grabbing the final shield. But again, Dusclops, a bit of an awkward situation here because they are going to resist all of the charge moves on the Skeledirge and on the Jellicent actually, because we got Fire Punch and Ice Punch. So I I can no shield this. It will just be another Disarming Voice. However, it's going to be very difficult for me to take out that Jellicent. So I'm going to overfarm here, look to throw on the CMP tie, and we actually lose CMP. I did not realize that. I mean, I don't really use Dusclops that much, but it turns out it is very bulky. We're going to fire off the Fire Punch. Fire Punch now debuffed and resisted and non-stab. Not enough damage to get the KO. I have to throw here, otherwise we'll CMP again. Fire Punch doesn't quite get the KO. And at this point, there's no point shielding this. I mean, we might be able to Hex farm them down, but there's nothing we can beat in the back there when we're double debuffed, so we're just going to let us go down there. GG's to that opponent into the next battle. Another Mana Buzz in the lead, which again, not really ideal for us, but we're just going to stay in this matchup here. They put throw straight away, so giving us a full counter in for free. Unfortunately, that's still not going to be enough for us to outpace them to back-to-back charge moves, so we're going to fire off the Thunder Punch here, and then possibly swap into our Dusclops, and actually we're able to land that, so maybe should have just shielded again and then gone for a farm down, or maybe even not shielded. I should have been able to live that anyways, but we're going to swap into our Dusclops, and of course a water type Pokemon that takes double super effective damage from Thunder Punch up against the only Pokemon on the team that does not have Thunder Punch, but it is what it is. We're going to go for back-to-back Ice Punches, and the second one might grab a shield here. Not really sure. Either way, Ice Punch is actually going to be shielded. Now we're going to come in with the Shadow Hypno, and I'm just going to no-shield this, as the opponent's going to go for a Bubble Beam bait, which is fine with me. Even if they full send the Ice Beam here, that's fine, because we should still be able to live this, and I'm thinking actually I don't want to throw a charge move here. I want to save all of this energy, swap into my Hitmonchan. Can we get the snipe? Yes, we're able to do so. And let's see, the opponent comes in with Diggersby. They try to catch a move on the Mandibuzz. It backfires as we hold onto the energy. Now things are looking great for us. We've got loads and loads of energy. We fire off the Ice Punch. Ice Punch is going to be shielded. We're going to throw another Ice Punch on the CMP tie. Ice Punch number 2 does big damage up against the Diggersby. Honestly, I probably could no shield this, but I might as well shield shield, we're going to be able to make it to a third Ice Punch, and from this range, from such minimal HP, Ice Punch will be enough to take out the Diggersby, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's up over there into the final battle of this video, leading into a Licky, so this is a great matchup for us once again. So I will say I got fairly lucky with a lot of the leads here, but either way I'm going to, never mind, I was going to say I'm not going to shield, but I actually will shield this. They full send a Shadow Ball, then they swap into Clodsire. Now I've got two Pokemon that are very good into Clodsire. I'm going to land an Ice Punch, then I'm going to swap into my Dusclops. I tried to catch a Sludge Bomb first and foremost. Unfortunately it doesn't work, but either way we're going to come in with the Dusclops just because I know Dusclops has a worse matchup up against that Licky in the lead, because of course Hex is going to be double resisted. So we're going to go for the Ice Punch gets the KO, and they come in with a Primeape, so this is fine with me. Gonna fire off the Ice Punch here, throwing just before they make it to that first Rage Fist, and the opponent throws straight away. Honestly, this is fine. If the opponent overfarms slightly, then we might be in a little bit of an issue, but because they do throw straight away, and again throwing straight away, we can just come in with the Hypno, go for a full Confusion farm down, so the opponent swaps back into Licky, go for two Confusions, making sure to throw on good timing. Fire Punch is going to be shielded. We can come in with the Hitmonchan, get the snipe with the counters, not even going to bother throwing an Elemental Punch, just go for a full counter farm down, and I'm able to take that game. So that's going to be it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, please make sure you leave a like, leave a comment letting me know, and as well, don't forget to respond to the question of the day if you haven't done so already. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. That way you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. And if you want to take your support even further, you can now become a channel member with perks including early access to new videos, shoutouts at the end of each video, custom loyalty badges, and custom emojis to use in the comments. I want to say a massive thank you to everyone that has already become a channel member. Your support is greatly appreciated, and with that being said, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.